talk about something a little different. But first off, you'll notice I got my hair cut, and it's growing on me. At first I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much shorter than I've ever had it as an adult. But I like it. It takes like a couple minutes to brush in the morning as opposed to like 10, 15. When my hair is really long, it gets really tingly. And actually, I mean, it is a little frizzy today, but I did not wash my hair today. And it's not totally, unpresentable. So I'm pretty impressed. I think that mom haircuts are the way to go. Anyway, I wanted to talk about a day that happened before I was a mom. And as the title suggests, I was followed home. I was stalked. So I was at my friend's house and we were watching a movie. I think we were all watching Les Mis, and it didn't get done until after midnight, closer to 1 o'clock, I think, maybe even 2. But when I went outside, I only live maybe just under a half a mile from his house, so it wasn't a big deal for me to walk home. I had walked there, and I just was like, you know what? It's a little scary to walk at nighttime, but it shouldn't be. Like, I'm a big girl. I can handle this. It's no big deal. I thought about asking him to walk me home. He's a really big guy. He's tall. He's broad, and no one would mess with him. But I was like, you know what? That's just wussy. So I'm going to walk home by myself and be a big girl, put my big girl panties on, and go home. As I was leaving his house, I did notice there was a person outside of the house next to him. The apartment next to him was, I don't know, he was smoking or something. I didn't really pay much attention to him because I was like, I just want to get home at this point. I'm exhausted. It's dark. It's late. I'm ready to sleep. Excuse me. So I did start walking home, and I would say I was only about 100 feet, maybe more like 50 feet out of his driveway when I noticed there was someone behind me. I didn't pay much. It didn't like register as like, it was a little scary, but it wasn't like I didn't know he was following me. I didn't know that was the case. He could have just been a guy walking to the gas station or, going to his house. Maybe he was visiting. I think he was the guy I saw outside my friend's house, but I don't know for sure. So I was walking, and as I was walking, I became more and more suspicious that this guy was not just walking anywhere, he was following me. I turned a corner and I walked across the street, and I knew if he walked across the street towards my street that he was definitely following me. So he did. He followed me across the street, and this is when I started really picking up my pace. I pulled out my phone. I know you're not supposed to use your phone because it's like considered a sign of distraction, and that could be a little bit dangerous, but I wanted to text the person's house who I just left to make sure that someone knew what was happening. So I messaged him and I told him, like, hey, someone might be following me. I'm not really sure, but I think someone is. And then I messaged my roommate the same thing. And as I was walking, he started talking to me. He started yelling after me, like, hey, I just want to get your number. Hey, let's just talk. I want to talk. And I'm like, first of all, dude, you sound intoxicated. It was just frightening. He's almost definitely intoxicated. And in whose mind is it okay to like yell after someone at 1 a.m. for their phone number? Especially if it's a girl, it's just ridiculous to me. So I ignored him. I didn't say anything to him. I looked back once just to see how close he was. He was definitely gaining on me, and that was scary. He was very, very close to me. I rounded the corner to my apartment, and I booked it. I was like half running. I didn't want to seem like I was really afraid, but I was half running to my apartment in hopes that I would get inside my apartment before he rounded the corner and could see where I lived. And I did. I made it just in time. I know he was probably around the corner as I shut the door and walked in to where he couldn't see me. And I was white. My roommate said I was white. My heart was pounding in my chest. And she was angry at him, of course, at the person following me, and at my friend who probably should have walked me home at nighttime. So I guess my takeaway from all this is just that why do people do that? Why do people think it's okay? He could have been a perfectly nice guy. Maybe he has no ill will at all. Maybe he was just drunk and thought it was an appropriate time to ask me for my number after just seeing me walking. But honestly, it is not the appropriate time, and I can't, you can't trust someone who's going to do that. You can't trust someone at all who follows you anywhere, who, hasn't taken the time to meet you under normal circumstances in daylight in a public area. So, I don't know, it was very frightening. I do not recommend it. If you are in that situation, just remember to go, it's ideal not to go home if it's during the day and you can find a safe place, but definitely if you're walking at night, unfortunately, I wish we lived in a world where that wasn't a big deal, but we do, and it sucks. So I'm sorry that the world is like this, but that is what it is. So yeah, be safe out there, everyone. Tell me your stalker stories below. Bye.